Hey, my name is Jasper Champagne with eXp Realty Luxury in New York City, and I am super excited to be here for this panel, More Than Money. The panel explores the evolution of success in real estate beyond production and income into alignment, sustainability, and overall well-being. I'm here with some very amazing agents from all over the world. If you can please introduce yourself. Start with Lani.
Yes, I'm Lani. I'm with EXP, of course. I've been in business for about 13, 14 years. We have a small team. We're fairly new with our team. Two of them hit 1 year. One will hit 1 year in July. They're in production. I'm super excited for them. And I've spoken several different times with our brokerage and with other companies. And so I'm just excited to be sharing this space with you guys.
Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Mark Pattison here, San Diego, California, and I own Porchlight Realty, brokered by EXP. So been with the company for, I think, almost 8 years, and I've been in real estate for, I think I just passed 12 years because I had to renew my license. So
That's a long time.
it's been a good run. I'm ready to retire.
LaShawn, you're ready to retire. So am I at this point. I'm exhausted, super exhausted. LaShawn, I know you really well, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My God, I'm older than all of you guys. I probably could be your mom, so cut out that ready for retirement crap.
I think you and I are
I
the same
I
age.
am I'm LaShawn Peterson. I am one half of Team Peterson Jackson. I run a team with my wife Tawana. We have been with EXP Realty since 2019. Our team is we are in Metro Detroit and Metro Houston, and I'm excited to be here on this panel today.
I'm super excited for all of you to be here. Lani, I didn't catch, where are you based out of?
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington. Oh my God, so cool. All right. Well, this conversation is really leading on to what is your definition of success in real estate right now, whether that's wealth, whether that's production, whether that's well-being. I mean, what is driving each of you is what we're all curious about. You're all very successful in very different ways. So I'm super excited to get your definition of that. LaShawn, have you found it now that you've been in the industry for quite a bit of time? Have you found it to be more of a chase? Like what are you chasing that led to your actual like fulfillment, if that makes sense, in real estate now? Has that changed over time?
I am chasing my legacy. That's what I'm chasing. I am after what I leave behind when all of this is said and done. So that's why I am adamant about taking in and training and mentoring and coaching new agents. I'm after leaving my mark on real estate. So that's what I'm chasing.
All right. Well, Lonnie, beyond wealth and you know, beyond wealth and money, what does it mean to you to be successful in this market?
Yeah, so beyond money and wealth, what it means to be successful to me, same thing like LaShawn, trying to leave a legacy, right? Building other people up, helping other people reach their goals. I think pouring back into our younger agents or agents just getting into the industry is really something that is needed, especially now, especially over the last 6 years in real estate. I mean, as realtors, we've had some of the toughest years in the last 6 years. Everything that we've had to overcome, whether that was COVID, post COVID, inflation, interest rates, affordability, all of these things are affecting how agents are producing or lack of producing, right? And I think too often that agents get into the industry or they join a company and they get made these false promises and they're left to try to figure it out on their own. And if we can pour into these people, then we're going to be able to have a better impact, not just in our industry, but in our communities, right? Helping our communities, helping our people grow wealth through real estate. And to me, that's super, super important.
It seems like we're all talking about kind of the same thing, as like the markets have shifted and stuff like that. The definition of success has changed. Mark, when did you realize that income alone wasn't enough of a definition of winning?
I think that if you're just constantly focused on the income aspect, you're going to fall short. I've had one client that I'm actually helping right now is for his 15th purchase, and I've only been licensed for 12 years. So seeing that client has come back, bought investment properties, multiple primary homes, it's because I don't just go for the check. I go for I listen, I pay attention, I see what they need. And I come from a place where I want to help this person out. He's been repeating a client, he's got millions of options as a real estate agents in the community, but comes back time and time again. And I'd say 95% of my clients now are repeat. So I think focusing on what clients need and helping them achieve their goals, whether it's to create a home or to create the next financial empire, I'm there for them.
All right. I feel like that's a great answer. I feel like we can all relate to that, right? Everyone talks about this balance, life work balance situation and setting boundaries and sustainability and, systems. I feel like I constantly am hearing that. I love the idea of doing those things, but I feel like they're easier said than done. So, Lani, how do you manage ambition with sacrificing well-being?
How do I manage ambition while sacrificing well-being? Well, that is a very great question, right? Because your ambition and your well-being can totally collide. And I think you one and foremost always have to look out for yourself, right? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, then your body's automatically going to shut down. And so for me, I know that when I'm being too ambitious and I'm doing too much and I'm scheduling my calendar too full, my body will just shut down. I'll get migraines and then I have to figure out how to take care of myself, right? And it's about, I think once you really start paying attention to your body, you start paying attention to your moods, your sleep, it really starts to impact what you can and cannot do, right? And if you're just trying to run all the time, you're going to run into a wall. Eventually, it's just a matter of when. And normally when that happens, it's not at the best time of your business because that's when you're the busiest the most and you're like, what am I going to do now? And if you don't have any leverage, then you're kind of screwed. So I think being able to manage ambition is being realistic with yourself. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and then underestimate what they can do in 5. And I think as long as you can chunk it up in your calendar, and to me, I'm a calendar person. So if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. And so chunk it up to about a half hour a day if you can. And I think that's very doable instead of trying to say, I'm going to work on this for 10 hours a day and then 10 hours tomorrow. And then I'm going to wrap it up by the end of this week. It's very unrealistic. And so I look at it as when you're working out, you're not going to get muscles overnight. It's a gradual progress and it's going to take time. So allow yourself the grace to take that time.
Okay. That was a really great answer. I think I gave you like the toughest question I could have asked at that moment. So like great put together answer. I should have led into that, right? Yeah. LaShawn, honestly, you've been in the industry for a long time and I know you have, I believe you have like a team that I've seen and noticed around a bunch that does a lot of production. But what boundaries have you put in place to protect your time and your energy?
Well, for one thing, I give myself one day a week that just belongs to me, and that is Saturday. I have found out that Saturday is the day that most of my team will not bother me because they're busy. They're too busy to bother me. They're out doing their showings. They're with their clients. My phone doesn't ring as often. So Saturday is my day to do whatever I want. Some days I will spend that day totally in bed, watching movies, just letting myself zone out on whatever that's non-real estate related, pet my dogs, whatever it is that I want to do that particular day, going to the farmer's market, whatever. That's my day is Saturday. So I have that to myself. The boundaries, I go to bed early. Everyone knows that LaShawn is in bed at 8. Don't call me. She sleeps. She's not going to answer. So I get my rest, and my rest is non-negotiable. So they have me from the time I wake up. They know I'm up at 5. They know they can call me then, but they know I'm asleep at 8. Do not call me. And until you see my light go green in the chat, don't bother me. And long as my light is green, I'm all theirs. They can call me. They can text me. They can come in my office. I belong to them. But after 8, I belong to myself, and on Saturdays, I belong to myself. And those are my only hard boundaries. Being that I work with my wife and that we run a business together, sometimes we run into issues where we forget to cut it off. We could be on a date night and be like, "Did I tell you about this, or did I tell you about that?" And we look at each other and be like, "Okay, back to this." Back to the food, honey, back to the movie or back to the show. So we have to be conscious of when it's our time together, it's our time together. Just like, we have those boundaries with the team. We have to have our relationship boundaries as well. So It's just a constant battle and reminding yourself to do that.
Those are great boundaries to have. And those are very realistic. I feel like everyone can relate to that struggle, not knowing when to cut it and cut in and out of work. And it must be hard with, your partner working in the industry as well.
It's extremely hard for us because we could be at a concert and I'd be like, I forgot to tell you what happened with Tidal. And we just have a whole conversation. Then we'll just look at each other and just laugh like, girl, stop. Let's, back to the show.
Mark, how do you structure your business to support your life and not compete in it? Like what systems or habits have you helped you to avoid burnout in high demand industry like this?
Definitely. So I think 90 real estate agents on my team. So when we talk about the reaching out to me, I don't have some of their phone numbers and they don't have mine, which is great because I have to set the boundary of who I'm reaching out to. So with that, we have mentors in place and the agents go to their mentors for their questions and the teams are divided up. It's basically 4 teams within one. So we have 4 different mentors, kind of about 5 now. And each mentor has anywhere from 10 to 15 agents that they will be in charge of helping them write offers, helping them review, answering their questions. And also I rely a lot on my vendors. So I have great loan officers, great title reps that'll answer all their questions regarding title, regarding escrow, regarding lending. I say, don't call me about a loan question. I'm not going to know the answer. Call the lender, and if the lender's not answering, that's the issue at hand is that we would have to have, they know that they need to answer our agents' questions. So that's part of doing business with us.
That's actually a great way of looking at it. I like how you subdivided your team. It makes a lot of sense. And just putting people in place to be the speakers and telling them, this is who's going to be best to answer your questions. Sometimes agents want to micromanage is what I say, or helicopter. So it takes a lot of strength to be able to say, this is my part, and then this is your part. And this is who you need to reach out to. That delegating is very hard in this industry. So what is one non-negotiable that keeps your business substantial long-term for each of you?
So my non-negotiable, whether it's for myself or for my team, is that you have to put the relationships first with our clients, that whatever we do at a very high level. We're not doing it for a commission check. We're going to do it to make sure that we're protecting our clients, we're protecting our relationships, we're protecting our vendors and our business partners. And if we can't do that, then nothing else matters, right? And I feel that there's going to be times where we have to take a cut or take a hit somewhere for the relationship. But at the end of the day, it always comes back. And as long as you have that outlook, I think everything else works out. Putting our people first.
LaShawn, what would you say would be your one non-negotiable?
My non-negotiable, especially when joining my team, is that you have to complete our 12 weeks of onboarding. I don't care if you're a new agent or an experienced agent that has sold millions of houses, you have to go through my onboarding and the way that we do things. I just lost an agent a few days ago because she felt like she didn't need it and she didn't want to do it and it was stupid. But no, you have to do things the TPJ way. And we do things different. Like everyone else says, the client is absolutely first. We, in our market, we take a lot of hits because of the difficulty that some of our clients have with purchasing a home. And we will, and that's just who we are. We're going to take that hit. If it's between us getting paid and the client getting their house, the client gets the house each and every single time. So then it's just not going to work out with us if you're not willing to sit through our 12 weeks of onboarding. If you're not ready to see if you're not willing to go through every piece of training that we've established. We know that it works. We've had a couple of hundred agents go through it. We know it works. We know our systems work. You have to be willing to acclimate into the systems and do things the TPJ way. If not, there's no relationship.
That's actually honestly a great answer. This is about well-being and the reality of burnout, pressure, and balance. I feel like we've all kind of been there. I know I have. But Lani, if I had to ask you, what are the early signs agencies pay attention to before things go too far and you do get burned out?
Yeah, I think I can only speak from my own experience, right? So for when I went through my burnout, it was lack of interest. Like I'd have somebody call me like, hey, Lani, I want to go look at this house. And, when you're about it, you're like, hell yeah, let's go look at this house, right? Are you pre-approved? You got to ask all the questions. We need to do a buyer consultation. But I can tell when I'm in early burnout, when I'm like, all right, fantastic. I'll get to you in whatever time period. Or if I see somebody coming through and they're like, oh, this lead is ready to go and do this. They want you to give them a call back. They're ready to sell their house. All right, fantastic. Like there's no excitement, there's no like motivation to like service them at a high level. There's it's hard for me to get out of bed, and it's I think it's the overall encompass of just burnout and just life in itself, right? And so there's times when I'm like, all right, where do I need to take a step back? Where do I need to reground myself? Do I need to take my Sunday off? Is there like a bath that I need to take? I need to go to the beach or go sit by some fire and really just kind of question like, what am I doing? There's also times when I know that it's not burnout, it's me transitioning from one stage to the other. And so there's a difference, right? Between burnout and then hitting a ceiling and then you having to push through. And you have to know what those two differences are.
Okay. That's a very honest answer. Thank you. Mark, running a team of 90 people sounds like insane. So I'm sure that you've experienced burnout. So what did that teach you overall? Like, what was the big learning lesson that stuck out to you there? A horse farm. Okay. That I grew up on a horse farm during the summers because of my grandma. So trust me, it's not very productive or lucrative as real estate for sure. So I feel like this is a question you've kind of already dived into, LaShawn, which is like, how do you navigate sessions where business demands more about losing yourself in it? Can you give us like key steps from 1 to 5?
So how do I not lose myself in business?
Correct.
For one, the first thing is that I'm just authentically me. I don't try to change myself. Hey, I am who I am. I don't put on airs. I don't wear masks. I don't care where I am. I'm always going to be LaShawn. You're always going to meet me and you're going to know me. You know, I don't code switch. If you know what I'm saying, I'm a lesbian. I'm a Black woman. I'm in my 50s. I'm your auntie. I'm always going to be that person. So that so living in authenticity is just, it makes it, I don't have to go, oh my God, I'm so exhausted from, pretending. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I train other leaders. I don't have to carry the weight myself. I have a leadership team and they can do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. So I have a couple of VPs of sales. I have a VP for everything in the company, and they help me do the heavy lifting. I have mentors who help me do the heavy lifting with the training, so I can do the things on the team that I love to do. I have an IT background. I was a project manager for 23 years. So I get to do the fun stuff. I love developing apps for the team. I love the technical side. So I get to do the things that I love, and I get to teach other people to do the things that I don't. So I only do the things that make me happy on the team. And like I said, I outsource other things. So how many is that? Is that 4? The fifth thing is I take my dog. The number 5, I take my dogs. My dogs are always with me. They're not here today because my son has kidnapped them. He really thinks that they're his sisters. So my dogs make me happy, and they take away the stress, and they're always running through the office. And so that's me being authentically me. If you invite me somewhere, I'm probably going to have Bella and Louise with me. So I'm that person. So I just get to be me all day. And I love that for me. And it took me a long time to get here, but I'm here, and it just makes me happy to just be me every day in my own way.
I'm just staying in your authentic self and being yourself 100%. That's actually harder to do, is what I've noticed lately as I've worked with people in the industry.
Yes, it is.
So
yeah, especially with social media, right? Everybody's trying to put on the highlight reels.
Yeah. I mean, it's building a brand, so I understand it. But, I never see an agent cry and be like, I lost this deal, or this didn't work out, or my client treated me horribly. I always see like, here's this another award, and here's this other thing that I won, and here's this listing I just sold. They never talk about like, this guy just gave me a panic attack at 1 a.m. because this deal is falling apart, and now I have to wait until 6 until it gets fixed. But, life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can ask this question to everyone here and they might have a different answer. But I'm going to start with you, Mark. What's one thing the industry doesn't talk about enough when it comes to mental and emotional well-being? The cold disappears and you just become hot. Okay, the Sunshine State. Wait, is that... No, Florida's the Sunshine State. What is California known for? Arden?
The Golden State, right?
The Golden State.
But yeah, the Golden State. Yeah.
Oh, San Francisco Golden Bridge. Okay, yes. Okay, cool, cool. Lani, I want to ask you the same question.
Yeah, so one thing that the industry doesn't talk enough about for emotional and mental wellness, I think it goes back to the same thing that I said earlier about social media. Everybody's putting on this highlight reel, everybody's showing their trophies, their awards, their closings. I just listed this property. And I think we need in this industry more of vulnerability. We need more authenticity, just like LaShawn said, right? I think we need to really showcase, like, yeah, you could be up here one moment and then get hit and be knocked down, right? Like, and I'll be very, very transparent. In April, I got hit with like 10 rescissions that month, and that was the most I've ever had ever in one time in one period. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Had to cry my eyes out in my office for about 2 minutes. Had to pull myself back together because I had other things that I needed to do. Continued being punched in the face later on that day. And it was like, man, this is not fun. This is not good. And then it just makes you question yourself, your self-worth, your confidence. You're like, why am I even doing this? Is it even worth it anymore? And I think these are all very natural questions if you've been in the industry long enough that you're going to ask yourself at some point in time, why am I still doing this? Am I good enough? Am I even making a difference? And it comes at the time when you're getting ready to break through, because you're going through all of those things to test you, to grow you, and to help you learn something new, right? And I think that agents that, oh, LaShawn has this amazing team. Her and her wife are, spoken at EXP Con. They're doing all these fantastic things. They have an amazing marriage. They know how to separate work and personal life. And agents who don't understand or know them personally don't see everything that they go through. They just see, this is amazing. I want to have that. And they have no idea the work or the discipline or the boundaries that they have to put in place to make that happen, right? The sacrifices that they've had to do in the past to get to where they are now. And I think that too often people just want to jump from here to here and not do the in between. And I think a lot of that has to be some of the story that we tell as agents as we're going through the journey of, I had to overcome this to get to this. I had to sacrifice, time with my friends, or, I had to miss this over here to get to here. And just being super transparent about that journey.
Yeah, I feel like that's really hard to talk about. I mean, everyone thinks it's just you jump to success and they see this built up person. And honestly, it took a lot of building and a lot of falling down and getting back up to get to the point of success. LaShawn, what's one thing in the industry that you think people don't talk about enough when it comes to mental and emotional well-being?
So I'm going to tell you a little piece of my story. I suffer from anxiety, right? And I really didn't know what it was until, I got on social media and, you start hearing people tell things about themselves. And I was like, man, I have panic attacks. I can't breathe at times, my heart races, like all of those things. And it came to a head during COVID, to the point where it was debilitating. I couldn't get out of bed. I was, constantly, I couldn't think clearly. I just didn't care because, I just wanted to feel safe and comfortable. And I just couldn't, I was no good to anyone. And I had to get into therapy for it. And I had like two therapists. I had a holistic therapist, and then I had a traditional clinical therapist. And it took both of them working with me together to bring me out of this episode that I experienced. And we were moving a lot of real estate at the time, and I was doing it from my bed. I was helping, and Tawana was really carrying the heavy load because my anxiety was so bad. And I really, besides COVID and all the things that was happening, I just, I couldn't get a grip. I just could not focus. I couldn't do any of those things. So what I learned is how to recognize when I'm going through a bad bout of anxiety or a panic attack is coming on. I've learned how to scan my body. I learned how to relax my body. I learned how to sit on my jaws clenched. My tongue is at the roof. My hands are balled up. My toes are curled up. So I have to like scan myself, do the breath work, the natural way and the clinical way. It took a lot of work to get me. It took me like 6 months to get out of that. So it was it was a mental health crisis, but we don't talk about anxiety enough. And when I went to social media and I did post on Facebook about what I was going through with my anxiety, so many women commented, oh my God, me too, me too, me too. This is happening to me too. So I don't know if it's something that, women normally go through in their 40s and 50s, but a lot of us suffer from a deep rooted anxiety and we do not talk about it. And if we don't talk about it and if we don't get help, it does become debilitating where we are in the bed, we are panicking for no reason. We do have like this deep impending sense of doom. It's different from depression, I think, because you are physically feeling it, with the heart racing, the sweating, so.
I feel like that's extremely hard to talk about. So thank you for even sharing that with us,
Yeah.
honestly. I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't discuss specifically because they don't think anyone can relate to them or they want to look tough or it's a business. So sometimes it's just hard for you to put that online, honestly. And then you're seeing clients comment and stuff like that. So it takes a very strong person to even start that discussion, honestly.
We all thought we were going to die anyway, Jasper. So I was just like, hey.
You were like, well, time has come anyway, so let's.
Time has come. Let me tell y'all what I'm going through over here.
But I'm sure that felt a lot more reassuring to you, LaShawn, because
Yes.
so many more people could empathize or relate and understand what it was that you were going through, and you didn't feel like you had to go through it by yourself.
Yes. And now I can feel myself when when the anxiety comes. I'm really good at recognizing and controlling, but I definitely like you said, pay attention to your body. My body lets me know when it's too much, when it's time to step back. So
I love how open you are with this conversation, and I really appreciate you sharing that. Alignment, legacy, and honestly, what true wealth means to each of us has been the topic of these conversations. And I think we're all kind of on a very similar page here, at least from what I'm listening to y'all. How do you measure success now on a daily or yearly basis? I feel like that's where, a lot of people have a definition that kind of has changed over time with their business. Lani, you're giving me the most interesting look right now, so I know that you have an answer for this. You were like, "Bet, got it."
Yeah. So how do I measure success now on my daily and my yearly? So for me, success might look different than most people, right? Or maybe it doesn't. For me, success on a daily looks like, did I get up and do what I was supposed to do, right? Did I leave my little ones and my wife and come to the office, and did I do the activities that were needed to support my family financially and then to also support my team and anybody else that's in my circle, right? That has their boat tied to mine. And if I did that, I consider that a win, right? As far as also on a daily, like making sure that I have my FaceTime with my little ones and my wife. My family means everything to me. I'm an old mom. I'm 47. I have a little girl that just turned 2 and one that's going to turn 4 in August, right? And so they are my world, right? I wanted more than anything was to have a family. And so, being gay, lesbian, I can't just accidentally get pregnant. And I mean, if I do, then there's a huge issue, or my wife, there's a huge issue, right? And so we had to really plan out our family. And we had to go through IVF, and that alone, my kids are expensive, which means I want to make sure that because they're expensive, I have my time with them, right? Joke aside. But so having that time, making sure that I'm showing up for the people who need me when they have their boat tied to mine, that I'm showing up for my family on a daily is also extremely important to me. As far as yearly, it's changed some, right? When I was younger, it was, how many transactions can I do? What's my GCI? How many families can I put into their new homes or help them with their real estate goals? And I sacrificed a lot of myself to get to where I am today. As of today, it's how do I measure success yearly is, all right, how many trips can I go on with my family? How many trips can my family come on with me, whether that's work or business? How many times were we able to do something as a family where I didn't have to stress, that I could be fully present when I'm with them and still have my business running with my team or using the leverage that I have? And so what that means to me is, am I coming up with a balance that works for my personal life that still allows me to service my community, to service my clients and my team at a very high level, and also still show up for my family, my little girls, my wife, in a way that I can feel proud of?
That's a really good answer. Very well rounded. And it's just changed over time. And I mean, we've been through stuff where we always have to go through things and, give up a portion. And now you're at that portion where you're like, this is my happiness at this point. And it's
Yes.
awesome that you can have those goals. Speaking about decisions, Mark, I feel like everyone has to give up something to get to a level of success. What's one decision that brought you closer to a life that you actually wanted to live? That's awesome. So, honestly, talking about these things, LaShawn, what does a truly aligned business look like for you today? I feel like for everyone in this group, it's kind of changed over time. So, what has that become for you?
A truly aligned business for me means that I get to live, and I guess this is my theme, the life I want to live. My business supports my lifestyle, right? I don't have to worry about money. If I want to, if Tawana and I decide we want to go to Fort Lauderdale for the weekend, we can go to Fort Lauderdale for the weekend. We were sitting at our little lake house the other day, and I was like, I hate the color. She called the painter. We can call getting it painted right now. I can just do the things that I want to do to make my life better. My granddaughter decided she wanted to be a swimmer. Fine. Get this baby the best swim coach in Houston. I can just do the things that I want to do because of my business. So it has aligned with my personal life very well, right? So it's not just about the money, it's about the freedom to live life how I want to live it. And my business has allowed that. And for me, inside of my business, it gives me so much pleasure to take a new agent who came to me with just dreams and help them realize their dreams every day. I have my last class, I call it my class of 2025. They are doing so amazing. They have already met their cap, they're making money. I'm watching their lives change. They're doing things for their children that they haven't been able to do. One of the girls on my team, her daughter is a dancer. She's 7, and she's going to California for the summer to study under I forgot the name of the school, but it's a fancy school, and she's able to afford that. For her 7-year-old daughter, and she's sending a tutor with her daughter just because of the opportunities that I have provided. So just being able to give people the opportunity to live a life where they don't have to know, how am I going to pay for this, how am I going to get this done, how can I get my son in this private school that I want him to go to. So they're realizing their dreams, I'm realizing mine, and it's all because of the business that we do together.
That's awesome. I love how you're changing lives, not only with your clients, but with your actual team members.
Yes.
So I feel like everyone kind of has similarities but differences. What's like the one takeaway that you want every agent to walk away with after this conversation of redefining their version of success? I'm going to start with you, Mark.
Yes.
Everyone has a different story, and that's what makes them a stronger person overall throughout their life. Lani, what would be the one takeaway that you want every agent to walk away with of redefining their version of success?
Yeah, I'm going to co-sign with what Mark said, but I'm also going to say your day one is not somebody's day 50, right? Or 75 or something like that. So be honest with where you're starting at. Make sure that you don't allow yourself to, I would say, become negative because you haven't reached a certain milestone as fast as you thought you should have. I think that's the biggest thing. Is, like I said, people overestimate what they can do in a year, underestimate what they can do in 5. And so we give ourselves unrealistic expectations on when we need to hit a certain milestone, whether that's in life, whether that's in our personal relationships. And so give yourself grace, allow yourself to fail, and just know that if you fail, that's okay. the people who have the biggest thing I would say is one of my biggest takeaways is something that I learned at a conference in a room. The person who is the most successful in that room is also the person who has failed the most amount of times, right? And they didn't get there just because they succeeded multiple times over. They got there because they failed multiple times over, and they decided to get back up, pick themselves back up, and continue moving forward. Right. And one of my favorite sayings from Les Brown is, if you have to fall, fall on your back, because if you can look up, then you can get up.
That's a great quote. I feel like people don't talk about failure enough and having to come back from it. I mean, me personally, I'm transitioning a lot more into like the luxury side of things, and everyone stares at me and they're like, oh, you just sold this for 1.3 and this for 2 mil and XYZ. They don't hear like I lost about 3 listings this year at like between 1.1 and 1.9 because of the fact that I didn't have enough experience. They just see the ones I actually got, right?
Yeah,
So
that part.
like you have to fail to move to the next part. And like that's what's going to make you the strongest individual. LaShawn, what's one takeaway that you want every agent to walk away with when redefining the version of success?
Just know that success is going to change depending on where you are in life. Success in your 20s is not going to look the same as success in your 30s. Success in your 30s is not going to look the same as success in your 40s or in your 50s. It's going to change according to what's going on in your life. And when I was in my 20s, success meant to me having a really nice car, having really nice clothes, jewelry, all of the flashy things, right? Auntie still likes those, but it's not how I define my success. Success in my 30s meant getting a really big, getting my house, getting maybe a couple of vacations in. That meant that I was successful. Success in my 40s meant something different to me as well. Like, oh, okay, I need to go across the globe. I need to take 2 or 3 weeks to travel, so it's different. So success now that I'm in my 50s, my success is about my legacy. So it changes over time, and it's about my freedom. I want to be free to do whatever I want to do, and I want to be free to be me. So just know what success means to you today is not going to mean the same thing tomorrow, and allow yourself to grow, evolve, and change into that. It's okay. It's not set in stone. Allow yourself the ability for your goals and dreams to become bigger or different. It's okay.
Difference of comparison, comparing yourself to others. Lani, you talked about the fact that you have to like fail to succeed. And LaShawn, you're saying that your version of success is going to be different than someone else's version of success. I think overall, what I gathered from all 3 of you is the same thing. Stop comparing yourself to others. The success is going to come when it comes, and it may not be your exact version of it. Just own what you want to be successful, and that will change. But overall, comparison, it seems like, is a big thing that people have.
Yes.
With each other. Stop comparing your version of success. Stop putting yourself in that comparison, and just your own success, your own wealth, your own legacy. That's what you want to build for yourself. So make it yours and don't think it has to be like anyone else's. Super long-winded there. Sorry. There's like a light flashing in my eye. I felt like I was looking like Ariana Grande half the time, not being able to look at anything. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Happy Pride.